How we doing, everyone? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? It's another live stream. And normally when I start these, I say that we're live every Thursday, which I'll tell you a funny story about this. But I normally, when we start this, I say we're live every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. But right now it's 10 a.m. Eastern. So sorry. Hopefully you guys got the memo that we're a little early here. If you are here, let me know in the chat so I know you can see me, hear me, all that good stuff. But I'll start off with two little things. One, obviously, I'm going live a little bit early, not because I think that my stream will necessarily detract from the public Etch live stream at 11 a.m. Eastern, but just because I needed a little bit more time. I'm also going on WP Tonic at 12 p.m. Eastern, so a little bit extra time here, just hang out with you guys because I really love this time of week. And the second funny thing is, as we get started here, is a funny story. Is I don't know if any of you guys have seen like kind of the slight brand shift. Obviously, I launched the new website at marksemansky.co, and then I put up a banner on like all my different social media profiles, just because the old one was like, I don't know, just I suck at design and it was old, and I was just like, let me just get something like way cleaner and simpler with some of the new stuff that I'm doing. And obviously, I have the website now, so I can throw that actually on there. And for some reason, I think I was doing it on a Wednesday. I was designing that on a Wednesday, and I wrote Wednesdays at 11 a.m. So I don't know why I did that, but I had it. That's just a funny story. So we are live Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern normally, but today's a little bit of a deviation from that. We got some people in the chat here. What's up, Gabe? Thank you so much for being here. Dave, hello, hello. Appreciate the sound and video check there, Gabe. Thank you so much. It's another thing too is I bought a couple different things to hopefully enhance the live stream here slightly, minorly. I just kind of changed up. You can see it all on my website too if you go to marksemansky.co/tools. But I just bought like a dummy battery for this camera and then a little fan so it doesn't overheat. And I think, fingers crossed, we can actually stream from 4K in the camera now. It might look slightly better on the stream, but I don't think it's coming through in 4K. But that is a restream problem, who I'm actually talking to now directly, and hopefully they continue to improve the platform. Richard, hello from the west coast of Scotland. What's up, Richard? Thank you for being here. Eric, hey, Mark, good morning from Alabama. We are getting, well, I guess global now and all over the world. This is dope. Hello from Denmark. What's up, Jacob? Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much, like I said, for being here. Thank you for being here an hour early today. And let's just dive into some of this stuff here. So there's obviously a couple like hot topics here. What I like to do, if you're new here too, I like to try to go over a little bit of like the week kind of from my perspective a little bit. Just kind of because I'm living on social, I'm living on YouTube, I'm living on in different like Slack groups like WP Minute, stuff like that. And I just like constantly get all of this information. And yeah, and then obviously one of the things that I do on these Thursday live streams is kind of talk about that and then try to educate you guys with whatever topic that we're dealing with today. I want to talk about some dynamic data stuff because I feel like one of my things that I do best is trying to like understand and how to lay out dynamic data in the WordPress ecosystem, so to speak, whether it's ACF or Jet Engine or what have you. Like that's just one of my favorite things to do, and I feel like I'm decent at it. And I get a lot of questions about it, and I have the free series, wpdynamicdata.co, that you guys can go check out if you'd like. So we're going to do a little bit of that today. Yeah, so it'll be good. Okay, we got some more comments. Nick, Paul WP Toots says, sorry for starting last minute live stream at this time. It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Paul is a legend. He can do whatever the hell he wants. And honestly, like me too, like I said, this isn't my normal time. So I take no offense anytime we're doubled up. It's totally fine. That's why things are on replay too. You can go back and watch them. Hello from India. What's up? Lex, what's up? Thank you so much for being here, brother. Rolando, greetings from north of Mexico. Wow, we are all over the place, guys. This is dope. Dave, Etch. Yeah, we'll talk about Etch here in a sec. Are you going to cover faceted search? I think this is a pinnacle front end live filtered by dynamic relationships between CPTs. So yeah, I mean, so let's talk about that for a second. If you guys have any ideas in this chat, okay, so here's let me give you the quick backstory on that. Then we'll talk about some things, and I'll give you guys some time to throw some stuff in the chat, and we can play around with it. I got 2 hours if you guys want to be here for that long. Okay, so here is just again my lived experience and people that have reached out to me and stuff. we got people in the bricks community, we got people in like Kevin's kind of inner circle community, we got people in this community, and everybody, like, we're all trying to do cool shit with bricks, potentially Etch, moving forward in the future and everything like that. And there are a lot of questions still because there's a lot of people at differing skill levels, people trying to do different things, whether that's like hobbyists that are building one website and they just want it to be done really well, or agencies that are building a bunch of different websites, or even like enterprise. Like there's just a whole gamut of things, and we're just trying to like, I always try to see like what people's goals are and then like what they're trying to accomplish. I get people asking me all the time, especially after I release the dynamic data series, like how would you set this website up, right? Like they have an idea for a website, and it's like, how would you take this idea that I have and how would you set it up to be the best from a dynamic data perspective? I will just give you the exact example. There's a member of the community here. I'm not sure if he's going to be in here today, but his name is Grant, and he was setting up like a pickleball news website. So it's really just like like a sports news website ultimately. And it was a cool idea. He, chatted with me back and forth, and I think he's pivoted it slightly, but it gave me this idea to do this because I guarantee there's so many people that they want to leverage dynamic data, but they don't know exactly the best practices or like the honest to God, the easiest ways to do it. Once you understand it and you can understand like how custom post types and then custom fields and then relations and options, like those three things. And again, I cover all this in the dynamic data series, but once you can start to understand that a little bit more, then it just becomes like kind of next level in a lot of ways. And I just like to try to do that whenever I can. So I'll give you this, I'll drop this link in here for you guys as well. But if you have any questions, specifically the faceted one, I will bookmark that one because that's a great concept there. And we'll kind of talk about that. I will say right off the bat though, on that one, just thinking out loud, the relationship thing, I'm trying to think. I've done faceted search with Jet Smart Filters from Crockablock, and I've done it with the bricks internal stuff that they have, which is maybe still an experimental, maybe out of experimental, but it's still kind of like a little lightweight. It works really well. I'm actually utilizing it on my site over here. If you go to tools and you come down here, this is all on this left-hand side here is all like the bricks, just native stuff, the native like little filters and everything like that. So, and I think it works great. I mean, it's as good as you could kind of expect for just these simple things. But again, these tags are a taxonomy. The pricing model is a custom field, and then the search is just, their basic search thing. So there's definitely like a second layer, and I know there's WP Grid Builder as well. I'm pretty sure, can do a lot of this stuff for you. But we could talk about specific things. The trouble is, like, I like to try to keep my stack as tight as possible, which there's going to be a video coming out. I'm actually doing a Crockablock talk towards the end of the month. It'll be pre-recorded, but it's a video about like how my dynamic data stack. So that'll be kind of like a condensed version, and then I'll have like a longer video that I'll put on the channel here. But yeah, my point is like these are all the tools that I've used on this page here. If you want to just check this out. But my thing is like with the faceted search as an example, like what I don't like to do is I don't like to dive into a tool and then build something and get like 95% of the way there and be like, shit, now I have to go find a different tool or whatever. So you really have to like almost have it planned out. And that's some of the things we'll talk about as we start to build something here. So yeah, let's see what we got here. I would like to see a discussion about backend architecture of websites, one that works as a blueprint but covers most of the basics. I would 100% click on that link and bookmark that wpdynamicdata.co, Rolando. But we can also do that today because the architecture piece is. I have a couple good live streams I think too about how I kind of architect some of those things. If we go down here real quick, and there's a couple good ones. Where are we at? I think this one might be a good one as well. You don't have to watch this right now, but that might be another good one just to bookmark, because I do a lot of this stuff live just because I like to do it, but I need to be a little bit better at making actual specific videos to them. If you guys have specific things, I will definitely cover them, but we'll cover that today. Again, I will star that. Appreciate that suggestion there, Rolando. Max, if you're setting up a web app or small SaaS idea in WordPress, you should take a look at the entity relationship model. That is interesting. I'm going to have to bookmark that too. Um, hey, where is your I am live section on our website? I don't think that that is working right now because I was doing it and then I didn't finish it because I don't remember exactly what happened there. Also, I was having some YouTube API issues. So further video in the future coming about that, Lex, when I figured that out. when I fully have that live and everything like that. It looks like WP Grid Builder is more extensive as far as some of them don't support ACF, some don't deal with relationships, and some don't handle metadata from ACF relationship CBTs. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think Bricks does yet with the relationships. I hope they do soon. And I have Jet Smart Filters. We could try with that too. But I actually don't have Grid Builder right now. So you should consider covering bidirectional relationships and nested relationships in ACF. It's super simple that no one covers it. You know, that is 100% it. And I have ACF Pro, and I'm gonna put it on this demo site here as we do that because I actually want to make a dedicated video on bidirectional relationships specifically in ACF because I there's like a I don't know what group it was in. Was it in Dynamic? I don't know what it was. It was a group in Facebook, and somebody said that, and I was like, yeah, I really don't like. I don't know if you guys let me know what you think, and I'll go over here and I'll get ACF on this install right away because I normally run Jet Engine because this is the thing when it comes to relationships, I actually much more prefer the way that Jet Engine handles relations, just because I think it's a little more straightforward. I mean, it's cool that you can go in and you could just like have a custom post type, put a relationship field in ACF. But now that they have the bidirectional thing, which is great, it's so difficult to understand that at first. After a while, it's not hard, but like setting that target field is just, I feel like a little counterintuitive. With Jet Engine, you literally just like create a relation, you pick the two things, and it's really straightforward in a lot of ways. It works. I'm just not a fan because I feel like it's less intuitive, but it's just the way that they had it set up, which is not that huge of a deal. But let me find my ACF Pro install. Putting it on this thing here, we can talk about that too. I don't know. Honestly, guys, like the trouble is like I'll just give you a quick little insight and then we'll dive into some of the rest of the stuff. Like it's hard for me as a content creator like to like there's so many options, right? And some of you guys maybe use Jet Engine, some of you maybe use Metabox, some of you use ACF, and it's just like tough for me because I want to like, I've used all these tools and I want to give you guys like kind of the lowdown on how each of them work, but it's like this is why like I love the concepts because the concepts themselves I feel like if you understand those then you could go into an ACF or you could go into a Jet Engine or you could go into a Metabox and like you'll kind of get the idea. That's why I try to tend to the trend to the concept way rather than just the specific tooling. But I don't know, that's just kind of where I'm at with them. Love the idea of delving into bidirectional relationships with ACF. 100% we'll do that. And then it took me 2 days to discover that there was a toggle under ACF field advanced to turn on bidirectional relationships and relate in other fields. So I'm speaking from experience. Yeah, 100%. Mark, but Jet Engine doesn't make bidirectional relationships with ACF easy. Seems Croco wants to full switch to their ecosystem. Jet Engine doesn't make bidirectional relationships with ACF easy. When you say that, do you mean that they don't make them easy? Like, are you saying you're creating fields in ACF and then you're trying to do that with Jet Engine? Because normally, if I'm understanding that correctly, I think of pretty much everything in ACF, everything that I can do in ACF, I can do with Jet Engine. And then, especially if you're not in a Bricks environment. Okay, so again, quick story. Hopefully you guys are getting value out of this. If you are, smash the like button. If not, then tell me that you hate it. But specifically this, let me give you a quick little synopsis, okay? I was with Elementor, and Elementor was like decent at the time when I didn't really know about like what I wanted or like, I came up with a lot of roadblocks and stuff. We don't have to go deep into that if you guys don't want to. But the point is, I was with Elementor and I needed things like nested loops and I needed like custom loop, like ways to build a custom loop rather than just like their little card thing or whatever the 3 things that they had there. So I went through a couple of different things there. I eventually found Jet Engine. And it was like, it took Elementor from like a decent page builder to like, you could do so much more the way that they leveled onto that, right? So that put me, and I have an LTD for that. So that was like 2 or 3 years ago. It put me in this position where it's like I could use ACF. I didn't have ACF Pro. ACF, the free version is great, but like ACF Pro gives you options. Jet, I already had options with Jet Engine. Like it just made more sense. So Jet Engine became my like normal thing. And also not just Jet Engine, because Jet Engine gives you like everything ACF Pro has pretty much, and then but it just does it a slightly different way in certain cases. But it also gives you like all of like the listing grids, the listing items, everything like that. So that was extending my Elementor days. Now switch to Bricks, and it's like you don't have to use half that shit because Bricks has a lot of that stuff kind of built in. You can do whatever the hell you want with the loops. You don't have to use the listing items, listing grids, and all that sort of stuff in Jet Engine. I would actually say that you probably shouldn't because it's going to slow it down just because there's more shit loading on the page. What I use Jet Engine for now is specifically the stuff that you would use ACF for. So I'm building, like normally I'm building the custom post types, custom fields, and relations and options pages all in Jet Engine, and then I'm moving through that realm. And what you could do now is I haven't really experimented with them too much, but you can do components in Jet Engine, but you can't do them in Bricks yet. But you can like kind of integrate the two, so to speak, right? You can do Jet Engine components and show them in Bricks. I haven't looked at it in a little bit, but that's an option. So I don't know if that answered the question. But yeah, but I mean, like, seems like Crocker wants a full switch to their ecosystem. I feel like that while that does resonate a little with, I've at least tried to not let that happen for for my sites because I don't need to anymore with Bricks. You do kind of with Elementor, at least back in the day. They have more stuff now, but it's interesting. Another thing I would love to see, and I can't find much material on, is a video about Jet Engine Query Builder. Okay, we can absolutely talk about that, which seems to me like the most powerful tool in Crockablock. Okay, so we got to talk about that for a second. That is 100% an accurate statement. There are, I mean, you can Bricks. Let me know, two guys in the chat who I'm talking to. Are you guys using Bricks? I feel like most of you probably are. But what do you use your main page for? Are you using Bricks, Gutenberg, using Elementor? Like that comment right there from Alonda there is you absolutely. That is one of the biggest things that is really at the time, like when I was using Elementor, you actually this opened so many worlds of possibility because you couldn't do a lot of the querying stuff in there, and Bricks is what Bricks query builder, query loop builder, like the actual query part of it is way better, but it's still lacking in certain things, especially when you go to like relations and stuff like that. There's the UI just isn't there. You could custom like PHP code the query, but again, we're getting into the realm of like now, luckily I could go maybe over to ChatGPT and ask it to do it, but I don't really want to do that, right? I'd rather just click some buttons, and I'd also rather like take it and be able to utilize it elsewhere again, perhaps. Which is another random thing is if you have advanced themer and you build a query in Bricks, you can actually reuse it there. So that's kind of the same thing. I don't know if Maxime got it from the Jet Engine concept. I would assume maybe not. But the real cool thing about Jet Engine is, again, the query builder, like we're talking about here. And you can build a query, and then you could use it in multiple places, and it's way more powerful. So if there's specific things, we could definitely talk about those. Really love all the engagement here, guys. Let me see here what we got. I also love to teach concepts, but people still need specific steps for specific plugins, else they won't understand how to do it themselves, I feel like. Yeah, no, that's 100%. It's just you gotta, I don't know. I'm always asking for specific things because I don't necessarily want to make like a super specific piece of content and then nobody, not necessarily just that nobody watches it, but nobody gets the value out of it because it's only doing one thing. I think about this literally all the time. I want to make a WS form video about the form that I put on my website here, and I'm thinking in my mind like how it's like it's a good piece of content. I could show you guys, and I will, but it's just like you guys gotta be able to extrapolate, which I'm sure you definitely can, or I could just teach the concepts and then we can kind of like go from there too. So I'm always down for suggestions though. Matt Report, can you tell us more about your new role in the community and as ambassador to the people? I don't know if I ever said that I was the ambassador to the people. Are you referring to my position on the Etch advisory board? Or just in general, I am a man of the people, right? That's what I do. But Yeah, I don't know. Are we talking about Etch? I'm gonna need further clarification on that question because I'd love to answer. That's why I mentioned ERM as it originated from the days of designing tables and determining tables from relationships and requirements. Yeah, I gotta check that out. I'm bookmarking that. Okay, yep, I created all my stuff with Elementor and ACF. Then we bought the whole Jet suite for basic filtering. Didn't realize needed faceted filters, which they don't have. I asked support. Oh, okay, interesting. Just suite. Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we could play around with it. I got Jet Smart filters too, with Elementor and ACF. Oh, okay. Okay, so I think I understand what you're saying. Okay, so you built it. You built like the stuff with ACF. See, that's just the problem that I've seen kind of with merging of those two things. If you do go that route, like Elementor doesn't have the faceted filtering, and now Bricks has some of it. If you go that route, yeah, it's a little, it's not, it's a little counterintuitive. Yeah, we could play around with it. Is Bricks faster, more performance than Elementor? I mean, honestly, I'll give you a high level here because this is a big topic over the last like year. My personal position now is I have clients that have Elementor sites that I still have legacy and I deal with those. I'm in there relatively regularly. I was just doing some stuff recently. It's not a bad experience. It's not a terrible experience. I just like Bricks a lot better from the idea of like streamlining how I'm building a website and how I'm closer to understanding what is actually going on with the website. That was my thing. This is my personal opinions, okay? Like you can go to watch Kevin's channel, you can go to watch Imran's channel, Web Squadron, because he's like very bullish on Elementor and he continues to put out great content there. I'm not gonna say that Elementor is inherently slower than Bricks. I do think that at least at one point, I feel like it's slightly gotten better now. They did definitely have way more shit in the DOM than Bricks did because when you put a heading in Bricks, it just puts like an H1 heading, close the H1. The way Elementor, I don't really feel like enough people like really talk about this in this way, but I've said this multiple times. Elementor was not first, but very early to the party, right? They like it just makes sense. Like there is some technical debt there with literally like every single product in perhaps 5 years, Bricks is going to have more technical debt than they do now. You know what I mean? Like it's just how it works. So it's not. I don't like to shit on Elementor because it treated me well for a reasonable amount of time. But my actual lived experience with that, and this is the if there's an underlying point to be made here, Eric, with this question, is that the reason I switched from Elementor to Bricks, or the reason I switched is probably because I watched guys like Kevin Geary and Dave Foy, and like I was like, oh, this seems like a more streamlined approach, and like I'm closer to it. That was the ultimate reason that I did switch. The reason that I even like thought about it though was because I actually ran into, like I was saying earlier, like functional performant problems with Elementor, and this was at this point almost a year and a half to 2 years ago. And I'm not trying to sell you on Bricks here. I'm telling you what I did. What happened to me? I had performant problems with that and probably an amalgamation of other things, right? Like I was trying to run Elementor, the whole Jet Engine suite, WooCommerce, subscriptions, memberships, do really dynamic, complex layouts. Dave does great content on dynamic visibility, like Dynamic OOO. Great plugin, unbelievable the amount of stuff that you can do when you layer all these together. The problem is that when the more shit that you add into your plugin list on your website, the crazier it gets. So with Bricks, I just saw it as a way to take a lot of the stuff that I already had used and just pull that all into one builder, and it has ended up being a more performant situation. Now, there's a lot of other things that go into this, right? Like you can't be doing all this shit on like shared hosting and expect that your website's going to be fast, right? Like I'm talking not just shared hosting, but like the bare bones, very low end hosting too. That's another big part of it. I was with Cloudways and I'm now on GridPane, using Vultr high frequency, all that sort of stuff. We could talk about all that stuff. If you guys are interested, I'll talk about whatever you want. But that's kind of I know it's a long-winded answer to say that because I don't really have an answer. I can't just tell you that. Also, last thing I'll say on this is that apparently Elementor has done a lot to improve that since then. So what I can't even really comment. I can only give my personal take. I'm not going to sit here and say Elementor fucking sucks now. I'm not going to say that because I don't actually know. I know from what I use, but I haven't done those tests. If you guys want me to do those tests, we could maybe draw something up and figure that out. But I know there's like a lot of other great people out there that are doing that stuff too. So that's just kind of where I'm at. So hope that made sense. All right, so we got Nick using bricks. We got Kyle elementary ACF for the most part. Brutson media here bricks. Starting to use bricks. Lex, I know Lex is a big green shift guy as well. And that's another thing too, is like getting closer to core. There's a lot of options that are like more block based, which everybody has different opinion on that. But that's another realm. You would think, again, if you're talking like WordPress, right? Like what is the fastest thing? If you're just talking pure logic, what is going to be the most performant thing? The most performant stack is probably going to be nothing. You know what I mean? Like it's probably going to be just core. If you can have core, it's probably just going to be core. It's an oversimplification, but purely logically, the less layers of abstraction that you are stacking on top of WordPress, it's probably going to be faster. You know what I mean? So that's another thing to consider. But everything is a trade-off. Can you do everything you need with just core right now? That's another tough thing. So bricks and ACF, nice. Bricks, ACF free or jet engine. Mark Smansky, man of the people. I do what I can. BOC, good to see you, dog. ERD is pretty dated way of looking at data. Is that what we're talking about? That's what ERD is that, or is that the same thing that Max was talking about? What is Etch? LOL, I'm on vacation. Buddy is riding his bike in the desert. Should we talk about what do you? I can't really. I don't really know how much I can say about Etch. I mean, there's a public live stream literally happening in 30 minutes. If you guys want to go watch that, I will not be offended if you go hop over there. I know that Kevin has said that there was 1,500 licenses and 1,100 are gone at least. I know he posted that today. So it has been a reasonable success. I'll talk about that because I know Max asked about that before we went live. I am on the advisory board. I was listed on the slides. That's pretty dope. And yeah, it was like a month ago. Kevin came to me, kind of just like said basically what he said in the slides. So far, if you guys haven't watched it, go watch it and go top on the stream. There's one at 11 Eastern, so half an hour from now, and then there's one tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I'd highly recommend you go at least check it out if you can spare an hour or two, just to kind of see what it's about, or just like search it now because there's probably a ton of people like that are talking kind of about it at least. I think it's cool, really cool vision. I believe in Kevin. I believe in the vision, but it's a pre-sale. There's nothing like you could buy it right now and you're not going to have a product to test. Like there's proof of concepts, but there's nothing like currently, available that you're going to get as deliverable. So it's a pre-sale. Like, I mean, there's really not, like, if you don't like pre-sales, then maybe don't buy it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else to tell you there, but I believe in it. I'm obviously, very, very gracious and very honored to be kind of like a part of those people on the slide there with the advisory board. And I put a tweet about this because somebody mentioned like I would love to know what the advisory board gets. I'm just going to speak for myself. I don't know. I didn't talk to every other advisory board, but I think it's probably similar. What I'm getting for being on there, if you guys think I'm getting paid, I am absolutely not getting directly compensated for being a part of that. I am not getting direct compensation. I am getting a free like LTD to the software, mostly to test and see as it unfolds, because I think that's kind of part of the thing there is I need to like know. I want to know what's going on, and I also need to like see like if I can see feedback that I would give, or if other people give me, and I can whatever. But I'm sure everybody is going to be a part of that. And then obviously we're getting like an affiliate code, which I'm pretty sure everyone is getting an affiliate code as long as you buy, because we could have a totally separate conversation about affiliate marketing, but I think it drives like most of the stuff here, because I'm actually quite a big fan of affiliate marketing as long as you're not shilling bullshit. So totally different discussion for a different time. But yeah, I'm not getting directly compensated for that. I am getting the free software. So I guess you could call that compensation for sure, but I'm not getting an actual paycheck or anything like that. And then I'm getting the affiliate code. So you absolutely will, as time goes on, I will absolutely be covering Etch. I will be talking about it. I will have an affiliate code in the description. So that's pretty much it on that. How it came to be was, I have no idea really. To answer Max's question from earlier, I have spent a lot of my time over the last year trying to connect with, learn from, and give as much value as possible to people in this community that are further ahead of me in their journey, have been here for a long time, people, that are just starting out. Like, I'm just trying to do that. Hopefully you guys see it as genuine, because I promise you it 100% is. And I'm just trying to learn, try, and share everything that I do, and make good connections, and hopefully continue to affect WordPress and the community positively. And yes, I do absolutely want to make money from this, because I cannot, I have to feed my family. I want to get, like, stuff. I'm not trying to like live in a Taj Mahal or anything like that, but I'm trying to do what I do. So trying to make a living from this. So that is what it is. Thanks for clarifying about your bricks journey, Mark. 100% Eric. What hosting would you recommend if you don't want to use Google or AWS? You have any experience with VPS on Vultr dropping off? We'll check your answer later. Yeah, I appreciate you being here, Eric. High level on that, I'll just give you my quick journey there. I was on shared hosting at name.com. Quickly realized that is not where I want to be if I want to build a lot of websites. That was just my personal thing. Again, maybe some people are doing shared hosting well. I don't know. Well, I would say that now there's definitely better options, but I wouldn't recommend that. That was years ago. Then I went to Cloudways, and honestly, Cloudways served me very well for a long time. I was using DigitalOcean servers on Cloudways. Cloudways is like the interface that you interact with the cloud hosting with, and that was fine. And then I moved to Vultr. Like, I was Vultr and DigitalOcean. Then DigitalOcean bought Cloudways, and I was like, should probably get the hell out of here, because like I don't know what's gonna be there. Also, at that same time, I realized what GridPane was. Met Patrick Gallagher, the CEO of GridPane, and realized that the one thing, Cloudways wasn't bad, but the thing I didn't like about Cloudways was that they own the server. They buy the server for you, or they buy the VPS for you. So you're paying like double, which whatever the pricing ends up kind of maybe being slightly a wash or whatever, depending on how you're set up, how many servers, all that sort of stuff. But it's not just that, it's that I didn't like the idea that they had control of the server. Now, certainly Vultr or whoever is still going to have control of the box, but it's another layer of abstraction. With GridPane, you go to Vultr or you go to DigitalOcean, you get an API key, you put that in GridPane, and then you go to GridPane and you provision the server through that API key at Vultr, and you can go to Vultr and see all of your boxes just like you're buying it through them. But what GridPane does is it puts the UI, and it puts like a layer, their technical stack of software kind of on top of it. And in my opinion, in my experience, it's just been like it's been a better experience. Not just because of that, also because I never knew anybody specifically at Cloudways, and now I have like direct contact kind of with those people at GridPane. The support, I feel like, is just next level. There's a lot of like cooler things. I have some content on that. If you guys want specific stuff, I could give you that as well. But yeah, so did I answer the question? I always do this. I mean, my go-to would be that. I'm going to give you one other recommendation would be, I'm not affiliated with Rocket.net at all. I have yet to meet Ben over there, but I've heard very good things. Dave Foy speaks highly of them. And I would just say that if I was right now, I'm not in the market to change hosting or think about anything different. But if I was in the market for, there's this concept of like managed, like self-managed versus like non-managed, like managed hosting versus like unmanaged or whatever. Like, if you want somebody to do the work for you and you don't want to touch any of the technical stuff, I would at least look at Rocket.net. There's other ones as well. I would look at that. I think Run Cloud might be another one or whatever. But I would potentially go that route if you're less technically inclined to deal with any of that. GridPane, you could like tweak and get to a better place that if you want to play around with that. Those would be my recommendations. Hopefully that helped. David Bell, good morning from Cape Cod. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. Brendan Rubin, send me your card info. Make sure you get a copy. Brendan is swiping the cards for the Digital Gravy team. Yeah, definitely. Definitely do not, or maybe send Brendan your credit card information. Dave Din, what's up, brother? Thank you for being here. What do we got? I saw the Etch last night, but I was sworn to secrecy. Yeah, we're kind of all sworn to secrecy a little bit here. I think after 11 here, most people will know kind of what's going on there. Check your DMs. That's funny. Ruben was joking. He's already in the Etch community. He's in there. When I get back, I'm going to zoom you. That's funny. What do we got here? I was in deep sleep last night in the UK when the stream was on. Yeah, I think yeah. There's I'm glad he did it at different times. So it's good. An advisory board member without a free license would have been weird. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's pretty. I feel like that's pretty standard. I rolled the dice on Etch. Really looking forward to seeing how it turns off. Yeah, I mean, again, that's kind of what everyone's doing, and I mean, totally understand and respect if somebody out there doesn't like appreciate like the pre-sale thing. I just again, I'll be completely transparent. Okay, I'm an open book here. I am literally looking at like what Kevin is doing and what a lot of other people in this community are doing, and I'm like, this is how I approach literally everything in life. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, I have some experience, 28 years of experience. Like, that's an interesting thing that somebody's doing, right? That's an interesting marketing attempt. Also, I mean, we've had so many good comments here. I've yet to kind of go through all of the normal like YouTube videos and everything like that from this week that we've looked at here. But I'll throw a link in the chat right here to KG was on with the WP Product Talk podcast with Matt Cromwell and Katie Keith yesterday. And that was an interesting thing, like just kind of seeing like other product owners talking, and they were talking about kind of like Kevin's marketing approach and everything like that. This is how I literally look at this. I look at this and I'm thinking, okay, one day in the future, right? Maybe I want to launch a course or a product or something like that. Like I'm constantly trying to learn and take mental notes and like archive them, right? What from this do I kind of think is a great idea? What is successful? Is there anything that's not successful? Is there any like stumbles? I always try to learn from my own experiences, right? We all try to learn from our own mistakes. If you can learn from other people's successes, failures, whatever, this is outside of just Etch, right? You're just so much better off. Like you can evolve so much faster. So that's literally how I look at something like this, because a lot of us are probably in this position where we're like, we might want to launch a new product offering for our clients at our agency, or we might want to launch a new product or a course or something like that if we're content creators. Like that is where I'm at from all this. It's not even really like there's a little bit of opinion in my mind of like, should we do this? Should we do that? How should we approach this? What strategy should we have? But it's a lot of just like literally taking notes. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then again, rolling the dice on it, that's kind of where everyone's at. If you don't love pre-saling and you don't agree with that, then maybe you don't buy it. And maybe like you wait a year, wait 2 years or whatever, and then you see where it's at, and then maybe you buy it then. It's like it's all just a calculation based on your own thing. Yeah, all tiers can be affiliates, 100%. You are a good YouTuber. Ruben, I appreciate that, man. You are a great friend and a product developer. You guys should go check out Headspin if you're breakdance people. I like stuff. I like stuff too. Appreciate you being here, Patrick. I'm assuming that's Patrick. Could be somebody else on the grid paint team. Getting back on my bike and heading to New Mexico. Love you too, Ruben. Be safe out there, brother. Grid pain. Enjoy. Yes. Enjoy, Ruben. I thought you went live at 11 Eastern. I do. Sorry about that, Joe. Normally do. Went a little early just because Kevin is having his Etch live stream at 11. I don't think I'm going to detract from that too heavily, but he's live then. And also I'm going on WB Tonic at noon Eastern. So I just wanted a little more extra time with you guys. And probably in the second hour here, we'll pull open the little dev thing that we have here for some of the dynamic stuff. So again, drop those in the comments. I have some stuff pinned if you guys want to talk about anything. I will, like, if you have a specific website, again, my actual idea for the dynamic thing was I wanted to use, I mentioned Grant earlier, member of the community. I wanted to use his pickleball site. He's kind of changed up the way that he wants to do that and the vision for that. But ultimately, we're talking like a blog with dynamic data and dynamic different stuff. I mean, we could also use my website as an example if you guys want to use that, because there's some of that stuff going on now. But anything that you guys want to see related to dynamic data, keep dropping them in the chat, and I will do my best to kind of play around here in a dev environment as we get there. Dave Bell loves Vulture. Solid product. I have had no issues to this point. Well, actually, I'll tell you another story real quick. I did have one situation. Where I woke up one day and it said that something failed. And there's no blame here on anybody. I think it's probably it's absolutely my own dumb fault for not having, I had the server backup set to weekly rather than daily, which you can make an argument. Okay, whatever. Like whether you want daily, week, whatever. But my point is like I'd like to have my shit backed up like as frequently as possible if I have the opportunity to do so. And with grid pane and with vulture and everything like for some reason like the or for a good reason, the notifications that you get are fantastic. Like it's almost like too much sometimes, which is fine. But I don't know what happened here. Okay, for some reason, and I'm sure this happens all the time with boxes. Like it just broke basically. It didn't. It was on my site. It was totally fine. It was like an old site that I had. But for some reason, it was trying to maybe back up, or it had like some sort of error or something like that. I can't remember. I could dig up the email. It said something, and it was like your box. We tried to recover it, and we couldn't. So we restored a backup. And in my case, the backup was like a few days ago. Didn't matter in this case, okay? But my point is, again, this is a story about like with multiple theses, right? Make sure you have backups as regularly as possible. Store them depending maybe on how long your platform lets you and all that sort of stuff. But other than that, I've had zero problems, and that was extremely minute. So I just changed it to daily because you have server level backups, you have application level backups, and all that sort of stuff. So. And that wasn't even a vulture problem. That was a me problem, more so. So you'll meet Ben in like 12 days. Don't you worry. Appreciate that. Thank you, Patrick. Okay. Spoiler on Etch. Don't click it. Don't click it if you want to wait for the live stream. This is what I found on the web, but we'll join in 30. I think if you try to post a link there, Lex, I don't think it lets you post links potentially. Oh yeah, can't put unless you're the guy. Yeah. There we go. See, people can't. Lex got the jokes. I don't know if people mind me sharing what I already found. YouTube really removes links, so we won't see it. Good to know. What I found on Edge, wait 20 minutes. Kenya, what's up? Thank you so much for being here. Sweet. Oh my gosh, I finally made it to the end of the comments. Thank you guys so much for all this engagement. This has been awesome. Really appreciate this. What do we got in the pin stuff? We can jump over here and also do this. Yeah, so real quick, we can talk about this stuff. I like to do the weekly review. We can run through it real quickly. I'm gonna be at WordCamp. Shout out. Let me know if you guys are gonna be at WordCamp in Portland in a couple weeks here. I guess like a week and a half or so, whatever. Excited, very excited to meet everybody in person, talk about all that jazz, and just kind of see what's going on. There's a lot of videos in this last week here. Holy shit. I'm just gonna rapid fire some of these things real quick because Again, I said this last time. I should like export my subscriptions because I follow so many great people here. So we got live building practice from Brian Cords, Lex doing his live streams, product talk. This was an interesting one right here. Let me go back to my comment box here. This was an interesting one. If you guys are, Matt and I have done a couple live streams as well, kind of related to like marketing and different things like that. This is always a big thing, right? And it's stemmed from everything that we're talking about, whether like WordPress is stagnating, declining, what have you. Just there's a lot of conversation to be had in that realm. And I think most of it is productive because I think if we're not talking about those types of things, then, they might go unnoticed. And, I don't know. I just think we should always be like considering like the reality of situations. And I know that possibly Matt and Kevin here tomorrow, right? Yep, about like 24 hours from now, I think, are going to be chatting about kind of like what is WordPress and a lot of that sort of stuff. So I would definitely catch that. I will be in the audience for that one, 100%. We get SureCart with the massive beta 3 update here from Adam. Watch that video. It's interesting. I don't know. I always say this. I've never really had too much trouble with Woo. I know that it can be a pain in certain ways, and there's a lot of like bad things about it, certainly, but there's also like a lot of bad things about everything. So I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely going to continue to keep an eye on SureCart as well. I do have a license for that now, so I don't know, just an interesting spot. I do a reasonable amount of e-commerce. I've done a reasonable amount of e-commerce, but like I'm going to be doing it probably for myself and potentially maybe like the agency and things. But I don't know. E-commerce is interesting. Let me know if you guys, how much e-commerce you guys do, because I feel like it's really like kind of split. I hear a lot of people that say like they never do any e-commerce. It's kind of interesting. It's funny the chats are coming in, but need to wait for the video to update. Are we talking about these? Are we talking about the, because I'm very long-winded and there's a bunch of chats? That could definitely be it. Okay, where are we at? This was another good one. Jamie joined along with a couple guests over on the WP Tonic last week. That was a good discussion there. Would highly recommend seeing that. Matt did one with Mark Benzakine. Interesting chat there again. Again, more of like the problems with WordPress, the marketing, the how's it gone. I feel like, I mean, again, I say this all the time. I've only been here in the community for like a year and a half, right? But it's funny to see like how everybody is like talking about. I'm wondering, has it been like this? Is this like a new period of time where people are talking more about like the potential problems with marketing or whatever, WordPress, the stagnation or whatever? Is it just that more people are talking about it, so it seems like more of a potential issue, or is it real? I don't know. Just a lot of interesting stuff there. How has AI upgraded your WordPress? That's a good question. I did a live stream last week talking about AI. At a high level, I can get that for you, but at a high level, it's helped me because I'm able, like with Bricks has like APIs to add things, right? Obviously other platforms do as well. You can like tap into their Element API and stuff. But Bricks and Claude together, I've been able to kind of like create custom dynamic conditions and things. These are things that you would be able to do if you were just like a programmer, right? Like if you just knew what you were doing in that realm. But in like for somebody like me who understands code, but I'm not like deep into it like all the time, there is there's kind of just, it makes it so much easier, right? It makes it so much better. I'll drop that in here if you want to check that out. But that was, I kind of went over that last week, kind of the high level of that. And then there's a ton of other ways. I would also encourage you to look at WPAI, James LePage's company, because they're going to be doing some real cool stuff here. I would say in the coming months to a year, with just like enhancing WordPress specifically for like with AI, like AI specific to WordPress. It's pretty dope. Okay, I'm gonna be on this live stream here with Matt Medeiros, and WP Tonic crew at 12. So if you want to check that out, we got a couple other ones here. I see a link you posted in the chat in a few seconds later. You're talking about, oh yeah, it's like Inception. It's like it's faster. Sweet. Max Emil, I'm so excited about the customization and ability for SureCart. And then Max said SureCart was also a very big pre-sale or MVP. Yeah. I remember when Adam first launched that. Yeah, I was in like the beta tester thing for that, but that was like before I was even like really dealing with it heavily. I was just following, WP Crafter content. I think talking about the WP problems in the open on YouTube is new to me. Yeah, I think it's probably, I don't know if it's new to everyone. I mean, it would be, again, I always like, I leverage Matt Medeiros a lot for this because he's just a wealth of information and wisdom on this. We talk all the time, and I'm always asking like, has it always been like this? Have we always been kind of like questioning and stuff like that? Because I think the questioning is how you stay highly adaptable, so to speak, right? Like if you're not questioning where things are going, what things are going on, then you're just kind of like getting, I think complacency is dangerous, like in general. So I think if we're not having those conversations, I think I think maybe we might be too comfortable if we're not. But it'd be interesting to know like how it's been going, like how it went in the past, and if these questions ever come up. I think from what I can gather and what I've heard, it has been a little cyclical where it comes up and then goes back around. But we'll see how it continues to go. What do we got here? I failed at setting up 2 companies and like close to 40 products. Is there any place I can get mentorship? I'm fairly technical, but super unmotivated toward business. I also have to do this solo. That's a good question. I'd probably need more context on that. If I was specifically in that position, I mean, I would say I know nothing other than that comment, obviously, but I would say if we want to get real meta for a second here, I'll go back to my face cam for, if we want to get real meta for a second, because it's funny you asked this question because I just had a conversation yesterday with somebody that had sounds like a little bit of a similar situation, but had a job, wants to start a business, doesn't know if they want to start a business, want to work for somebody and all that sort of stuff. Uh, I could talk about those types of things all day because unfortunately there's not really like an answer, so to speak, from my experience. It's just like you have to just try, and then if like I'm not explaining this well. If you have to understand if like you actually want to be in business or you just want to be an employee or whatever. And I'm saying you in general here. I'm not specifically talking about anyone specific. Like that's just what I've kind of gathered. And I'm honestly still on that journey. Like I have, business. It's like, okay, I want to continue to make it better. But like I wouldn't consider myself somebody that's got it all figured out. I don't know if anybody really does. And the question becomes like, what do you actually want to do? Do you actually, because here's the problem. I'm going on a little bit of a riff here, is kind of from a past life of like getting into business and everything, but hopefully you guys stick with me for a second. The the idea of starting your own business could be way more fulfilling. Like if I was at a job and I hated it, right? And then I just like, I'm gonna start my own business. And then I started it. And it's like, it's way more fulfilling to like make your own money, but it is absolutely not fucking easier. It is way easier to just go do a job and just get a paycheck. It's way easier. If you want it to be easier, then I would recommend going that route. If you want to be like more, and I'm sure there's also jobs. I only had one real job. So like I'm sure there's also jobs that are like slightly more fulfilling and make money, right? So it's like you don't have the crazy responsibility of trying to always like, you know, make the dollars that like physically find the dollars, but at the same time it's just to me it's like what like being an employee would be, right? So I don't know. And also I will say, if you've started multiple businesses, like there's many people that have started like 10, like I again, I'm not, I say this all the time. Brendan O'Connell, if he's still here, has got to tell me some history information. But like I'm not a history buff, but I know that just in general, like an anecdote is like, or just a saying really, is that so many people have started things like 10 times and the 11th time it worked out. So if I can give you some super, like again, like kind of cliche advice, is just, kind of the cliche of don't give up. However, I tend to be a little bit of a realist as well. And it's like, if you get to a desperate situation, you got to just make money. I'm not even like kind of kidding you here. Like I'm kind of like of that mindset. And I've been in that situation. Like at a certain point, this is why, I don't know if we're specifically relating this to WordPress, but this is why like WordPress, and Matt and I talk about this all the time, is like awesome and kind of slightly dangerous. I'm really riffing here. Hopefully you guys are, not hating this. But I think the concepts that are built into kind of the WordPress community sometimes can be like a little like a little not dangerous, but like meaning you have to make money, right? Like if you want to, either you're an employee or a business, you have to make money. And this is something I'm literally learning. I'm not trying to fucking preach to you guys right now. I'm just trying to share. You have to make money because you have to live. And I'm not, this is a separate conversation on whether like money should be the root of it all or what. Okay, fuck that. This is just the reality of the situation. We all need money, right? And if you're not honest with yourself and think, oh, and you think I could do everything for free and I could still like exist, you're crazy. Like it's just that doesn't make any sense. I'm steadfast in that position. I'm not saying you shouldn't do some things for free or volunteer or whatever. And I know I'm slightly off topic of the thing here, and I know there's comments here. I want to get to them, but that's my overall kind of like mentality on that, and that's something that I'm dealing with all the time. So I apologize that I don't have better mentorship answers, but that's just kind of where I'm at with it. And I really do think that there is absolutely credence, or is that the right word? I don't know. Like to the fact of like, if you're trying and you actually want to succeed, that you will get there. And a lot of times people quit right before they're like 3 feet from the break, right? Right from the 3 feet from the goal. So that's just what I would think. Hopefully that made sense. If you've ever done a WooCommerce site, you know how much of a pain it can be, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of nuance there. I mean, I think I've had some, again, that one big one that I cite, WooCommerce membership subscriptions. The problem with WooCommerce is like not everything is included, and then something like SureCart comes in and a lot of stuff is included, right? Like they have an affiliate program built in, they have subscriptions, they have all that sort of shit. WooCommerce, there's just too many products. There's like they're all in that marketplace, and you have to spend a lot of money. If you're actually making money, it ends up not being a lot of money, but you know, it's for sure it's a concern. Ali Abdal, yeah, Ali Abdal is good. Talks about it in his latest videos. I'm trying to start a web design business and do educational videos on the side. Yeah, 100%. Ali is good. Having a startup is like putting out one fire after another and a band-aid to a band-aid. Yep, that is a good analogy there. I believe many aspiring web designers are being preyed on by the confusing WordPress market and the various products and SaaS solutions they purchase to achieve professionalism. Yeah, that's a nuance. That's a good nuance take there, Max. I think the only thing that I would say if I was hyper analyzing that is I don't know if I think preyed. I think the only thing I would question is defining the word preyed. I don't think a lot of it is malicious in intent from what I've seen. I think that it could be the case that they are getting preyed on, but it's not on purpose, right? Because a different way to say this exact thing, what I feel like, and it's probably something that I've suffered from or, you know, been a victim of my own self from, is I am missing I've lost the plot. I am missing the point. And this goes back to what I was just saying, right? If we're talking about starting a web design business or starting a content business, I do this fucking daily, okay? I miss the plot. Why did I start a business? I started a business for two reasons. I started a business to be happier, like be more fulfilled and not hate my fucking life. And I started to survive, to make money. Like that is absolutely part of the reason. You cannot argue that. And how do you do that? You make money, right? So when that happens, the comment on the screen here, right? When that ends up happening, I think there probably are some malicious people out there, okay? Potentially, right? Like there's just evil people in the world or whatever and exist everywhere. But I think most of the time that's not the case. I think what the case is the praying part of it, and this is probably what you mean, but like the praying part of it ends up being they're getting preyed on because an opportunity is presenting, like a piece of software is presenting itself, saying that they kind of need it, or it's like it's going to make them more professional, which is not a false statement if you look at it in black and white. However, if all I fucking do is buy more products and don't actually sell any websites, that's not going to make me more of a professional because I'm not going to sell any websites, right? I'm not going to do any of that. And again, I am guilty of this 100%. So that I'm just analyzing it here. I'm not preaching. So that's kind of like the way that I see that. And it is a real problem though. But I think the best way to internalize that though is to take more of the accountability approach, and hopefully we can all be like, hey, you like get your stack and fucking work. You know what I mean? Like when I switched to bricks, it was like overwhelming, but now I feel like I'm a little more settled in, and I feel like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then, you know, maybe there'll be something else in a little bit or whatever. But that's kind of more of the way to do it. And I'll be completely transparent with you guys because I love this. It's the same way with this content shit. Like now I have to relearn how to do another business. And again, Matt Medeiros has been a huge asset to me personally with this because he's extremely wise and seasoned in this. Like I have to figure out how to sell this to people, right? I know it's different, probably different than a lot of you guys are doing, right? But it's the same type of thing. I have to learn a new like business model and a new way to sell like the stuff that I'm doing rather than just websites. It's a different thing, but it's all still, you know, it's a different thing ultimately with the same goals, right? So again, roundabout answer, but that's kind of the way that I would see that is I think that there is absolutely truth to that, but I feel like at the same time we have to really look internally because there's a lot of things that we need to realize. It's like, okay, at this point we should just stop buying shit and we should just work with the stuff that we have, because you're never going to have the perfect stack. And if you're always looking for that, then there's always ways to improve. But if it's, I just feel like I agree with a lot of that, a lot of piece of that there. I got the image of someone searching through couch cushions to find the physical dollars. Yeah. Let's search. We're searching. I tell people all that time, actually. I was like, hey, why don't you just check your couch cushions? Preach. I said that before he said it. My man. Van, appreciate you being here. Thank you. Yes, parade is a harsh term. It goes together with confusion. If you arrive at a clear solution, you grow with it. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Again, cool. All right, let's go back over here real quick. And anything else super crazy of note? I mean, all this content is good. I feel bad that I can't just put all these links on here. I will plug mine and Matt's chat from the other day though for sure. Will marketing save WordPress? That was a good discussion. We need to have more of those. That was kind of coming off. We recorded that twice. That was kind of coming off the back of the WP product talk as well with Rich Tabor and a couple other great people there. Just it's an interesting topic to talk about, right? We all love talking about it. All these WordCamp things are already up. That's kind of exciting. I'm gonna be there though, I guess. So I don't need to like notify on any of that. We got all these shorts here. Looks like Ferdy's popping out some shorts. That's another random thing too. I need to start clipping this content for shorts and for short videos because that would be really good because I know that I'm long-winded and I appreciate all you guys being here and watching the live and watching the replays. But I know that some people don't want to sit here for 2 hours and listen to me talk, so I should probably do that. But that's one of those other things we're talking about. Did I already link this? I think I already linked this. So, okay. Let's be done with that. I think I covered pretty much everything we're going to be talking about. Oh, one other random thing is that GridPane had a live stream specifically for like people like I think in certain platforms or certain tiers and like that have like relay and all that sort of stuff. But it was a really interesting, just the concept of it. Regardless, I don't know if Patrick's going to release more content on it, and me and him might do some stuff, or he might release that. But it doesn't really matter like the context of that. It's the concept that I'm talking about here. Patrick was giving a workshop about load testing your websites, which I am just like blown away by because I'm not there. Like I don't like fully understand. Like if you guys were at the IC, the Inner Circle stream yesterday with Kevin, like you know that like it went down as everybody tried to flood to it, right? Think about like, 1,000 people trying to hit your website at the same time, trying to buy something and go through the checkout process. Like that is going back. Okay, let's use this as an example. Going back to when I was talking about earlier about like learning, writing notes, taking the mental things, archiving them. If I have a launch like that, it's probably gonna be much smaller, I would assume, right? At least the first one. I think a bird just hit my window. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But anyway, if I go, in the future and I have a launch like that, like I'm taking mental notes. It's like make sure that I talk to somebody like Patrick Gallagher and I test the shit out of this thing before that happens, right? Just as an example. Again, it's not going to really hurt Kevin, I'm sure, but my point is that is another thing that I'm constantly thinking about. Like how do I learn from all these things that I'm taking like just I'm paying attention, right? That's all I'm doing. But anyway, really good workshop the other day from Patrick Gallagher. Hopefully there's more content on that because I think a lot of people, that's another one of the big ones where I think like a lot of people probably underestimate, don't know where to start with like load testing a website for when they actually have to do something like that. Just think it's another big one there. Cool. All right, so we talked about Etch, we talked about GridPane, we talked, we're gonna be on Tonic here. Why don't we just switch over now that I've been speaking for an hour and you guys have so nicely listened to me? I don't know where that white screen is coming from. Let me switch over to this. Okay, why don't we do some stuff? All right, so here's where I'm gonna go back to those pinned comments and I'm gonna take a look at some stuff here. All right. So let's go look at these pinned comments here. What do we want to look about? What do we want to look at? We talked about faceted search. We talked about backend architecture of websites. The blueprint covers most of the basics. If you're setting up a web app or similar, you should make, okay, so entity relationship model, faceted search stuff. Okay. We can either do this one of two ways. If we have a site in mind and it's probably first come first serve on that, we could take a look at some sites and then we could just try to like build how I would like build the architecture. I really actually like that. I just can't think of a really good one to use. Or I could just start playing around here and doing what I'm doing here. And do I have an update here? No, I hate it when it like says you have an update and then you click on it and it's not there. All right, so what do we want to do? Let's go to, this is this has got bricks on it. We could get some more stuff that I have. We got Advanced Custom Fields Pro. We got ACSS, Frames, Happy Files, Jet Engine. We don't need some of this other stuff. We got WS Form. I think a really cool thing would be to just kind of like real quickly do like WS form, like a way to import like posts and stuff. I would have to get the posts add-on real quick and add that on there. But yeah, so whatever you guys think we want to do here, and I will just start playing around and doing some stuff. So where do I begin? Again, I would highly recommend wpdynamicdata.co as a beginning situation of this, of like somewhere where to start. But honestly, I'm probably going to just think about a website. Honestly, I kind of liked the sports news example that I mentioned earlier about pickleball, and maybe I'll just use a different sport, like one that I know a little bit better. Maybe a niche sport like ball hockey. So let's just do it. If you guys have specific info, if you have specific ideas, let me know. And right off the bat, is there a way that we could utilize bidirectional relationships? I'm sure there's a way we can utilize bidirectional relationships. So let's go over to ACF. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here, boys. So let's make some stuff here. Let's make I should just have like Claude or something just generate a full script of everything that we could do here, because that would be dope. Somebody dropped a bucket of Smarties on your Chrome header. I get shit all the time about this, and I just love it. So I'm gonna rock it. The reason this is blue is because this is the Chrome profile for my agency, Find a Tech, which is the stuff is blue. The reason the other one is red is because it's my Szymanski Media and my content side. And I love having all of these little things. I know what all of them are. I don't need words. I love having all those up there. Is that really distracting for people? I could turn that off. I could see how it could be distracting. I just love it. Is it possible for us to use WS form in a transaction and have it go to a post type? Joe, give me a specific example of that, and I will do it for you right now. Yeah, we could just dev some random stuff too. I switched to using Chrome Dev just so I can get a clean blank Chrome top bar. Interesting. I'm not sure. Is Chrome Dev? Are we saying Chrome Dev is different? Because I would definitely do that. Let me do this real quick then. Let me download the post thing, and we will get to work here. Yeah, Joe, if you have a specific example on that, I'm definitely down to do that. Let me go to WS Form, add-ons, and where am I going here? Right here. I know you can't see this. It's because I have to get a key or something. Let's get this add-on. There we go. So if we're going to do something like that, we need the WS Form post management situation. Man, I think this is this easy digital downloads that everyone uses that is like the weirdest way in the inside of the like your admin for whatever you use. It's like the weirdest like UI for it, because like you have to go to like a different, like there's no licenses up the top. You got to go like subscriptions or whatever and then go to licenses. It's interesting. Plugins, add new plugin, boom, boom. Post. There we go. Transaction part might be hard. I'm not actually sure if I need a payment gateway for that either. But I will figure it out. Where is my thing here? Just licensing these real quick. Post, boom, boom, activate. Cool. We're good. Nice. All right, let's do, what do we want to do here? Let's go to here. Also, again, the query builder of Jet Engine, we got some stuff there we can talk about 100% because it is absolutely unmatched with what you can do there. Just spitballing, to be honest. Yeah. Is it possible for us to use WS form in a transaction and have it go to a post type? All right, let's brainstorm an idea of like how that would go. So a you're utilizing like you're trying to like buy something through a WS form, and then you are like, what's the point of the of that piece? And why don't we just do this real quick too? Let's just make some field groups. Why not? Let's use an actual example of what was the one that I just had? What was the one that I just literally told somebody about? They were doing. I think I have it saved real quick actually in my. Let me go to my saved posts real quick. I do a lot of this. I do a lot of this stuff here on these. Oh, this is a good one. All right, we're gonna do this one. All right, so. Is this the one that I was looking at though? Events. So there's like events, officials, and let me see if there's a different one too. I have like a whole folder of like video topics. Queried on dates and occurrences. For example, I want a taxonomy filter for the event categories and a query of start time. Interesting. So there's events. The one example I'm thinking of like is events and occurrences. That's a bad example though. Hang on. I want something with bidirectional relationships. What's a good bidirectional relationship one? Why don't we just do any sort of bidirectional relationship just to get us started off here? So let's do events because everybody loves events, right? Let's do events. All right, so we're gonna have let's go over post types first. New post type. We're gonna say events. If I could type on this new keyboard, event, then event, and then we don't need any of that just yet. Normally we go down here and I'm gonna turn off the editor, and I guess those are like built-in custom fields. Yeah. This is all good. I don't really care about any of that. Cool. Okay, so we'll have events. And we'll have another, is there no button to do another one? There we go. All right, then we'll do, should we do occurrences or should we do location? Let's do location. Locations. I think bidirectional would be something like events and author with listing pages for both, or actors and movies. Author, I don't like the idea of author just because there's like an author that's confusing in here specifically with WordPress, but I see what you're saying there. I think so what you could do is you could have like events and then you could have locations, and then locations could definitely be a again, I'm just making this up, so it is what it is. Let's do events and locations, and we could probably even do like a different one, but let's do interesting. What does add fields do? Oh shit, I didn't even realize they had like a, oh, that's really cool. They have like a quick little button to just add fields. I never did that before. I mean, I've obviously done this, but I always set these things manually. That's cool. Okay, so for location, let's think about this. So you would have an event, maybe it's like a sporting event, and then you would have and then you would have like the location in which it was at or something. So location field would be just like, do we have like an address? I'm not going to go the whole Google Map thing right now. Let's just do text, whatever. And then we'll just say like address and address. Okay, cool. And then is there anything else with location? We could have like a featured image in there or something. Okay, why don't we do this? Capacity. And make that a number. All right, so that's good enough. Again, totally down to do somebody's actual example if we have that. If not, we'll just do it like this. Interesting. There's no way to go. They should have a button. They should have a button to like just click like add field group here though. Because I could do it when I started it, but I can't do it now. It's not a big deal. It's just whatever. We will say events fields or locate event fields, whatever. And then for event, we'll say like you can either say number of tickets. You could say obviously start time and end time. And we'll do, can we do time here? We'll actually do, how do they do it over here? Because I'm used to Jet Engine. The one thing about Jet Engine is they have way less fields, like field types. So they don't even have like a URL field, which is good and bad. But it's all like text as an example. And this is another thing too, is like sometimes I like to separate out the date and the time rather than just doing a date time. But I can't think of a reason why that would be a bad thing. So yeah, let's just do it like this. And then we'll do end time. All right, there we go. Date time, boom, boom, good enough for me. Okay, so we have an event, we have a start time, we have an end time, we obviously have a title. Could have like a description or something like that. But I'm trying to think of our events that we would have. We could have, this could be like a website for like things going on, you know, in whatever, right? Like things going on in the area, okay? So things going on in Pittsburgh or whatever, for example. So here's the thing, okay? If we're still here, which I'm sure some people have dipped, which is totally fine. But here's the thing, and I'll make a dedicated video on this, but specifically with the bidirectional thing that seems to trip people up. This is all you have to do, is we have event fields, and we have, which actually this isn't set to event yet, there we go. We have event fields, and we have location fields. So the way that you would probably do this is that you would say, okay, and the reason you would want to do this too, I need to preface this because people don't understand this concept. The only reason you would have a location, thing, a location custom post type, is if you want to have like a location single page. Like if you just want to like say where the event is and you don't want more information, like a whole thing over on the location, you probably wouldn't want to do it like this. There's probably even better examples, like David said, like a really good one would be like actors in movies or those types of things. I think I used that in my dynamic data example. So we're just doing something different here. But I know a lot of people like events, and there is a reason to do this potentially if you want to have more information about the locations. So for events, this is how you would do this. You would come into here, and you would say down to relationship. Because you have to think about how you're actually doing this. You have to like reverse engineer. You have to think about when you're done. When you're done, there's probably a really good chance that you're going to want to go to events, and you're going to put in a location for the thing, right? So like, for instance, if you go to events and you go to relationships and you come down here and you say, okay, so where, like when you're typing in this event, at some point you're going to have to say where it's at, right? So if you have a list of locations and all of those locations have information about them that is unique to those locations, you're putting a relationship field, location, and you're filtering these post types by location because you're going to get a list and you don't want to see anything other than location. You can also filter by status and all this other stuff, but we're not going to deal with any of that right now. You might want to consider object and ID, like depending on your situation, but again, that's not important for the moment, right? So then if we go into like events, we come in here, we add a new event. We're going to say baseball game, all right? And we're going to say start time is this day at this time. It's an early game. It's 2 a.m. And then it's going to end at, long game, 8 a.m., okay, or something like that. We'll publish that. We'll come over to events or locations real quick. We're going to say this game is going to be at we're adding a new location. So one of our locations that we have here that we want to have a bunch of information on is PNC Park. So our PNC Park address, I don't know what it is, but that's a baseball field here in Pittsburgh. And we'll say like, I don't know, Pittsburgh, whatever. And again, I would probably say that you might want to do this with a map, but we're not doing that right now. There we go. And then capacity of the stadium is, I don't know, 55,000 people, whatever. Okay. So we can have more information here. And then obviously this is a weird dev link here, but it would be if you wanted to see information specifically about PNC Park, or if you were on the event page and you clicked on where it said PNC Park, it's going to take you to this link most likely, the way you would set it up. And this is going to give you like a single page about PNC Park, right? Which would probably have a ton more data on it. It might say like when it was built and all this other shit, right? So that's the concept that you want to have there. Okay. So now we go back over to our event, we reload this, and we have a location now on PNC Park. And then we can click PNC Park and we can bring them here, right? There we go. So now we have what we've created right now, obviously, is this list is dynamic, so to speak, because it's pulling in just the locations. What the reason you'd want to do this is you don't want to have people like a text field down here for location, them like typing in like PNC Park and all looking different and all that sort of stuff. Like if your client's messing with this, I think of everything I do dynamically almost from a client perspective of making their lives easier, making my life easier, making the website easier to use, easier to navigate, and it's going to look better because they're not going to like mess shit up in like text fields, as an example, just as a super simple way of thinking about that, right? So that's one way to do it. Now, the question becomes, is this a good example specifically for bidirectional stuff? Now, the way this would work if this was bidirectional is that we would have another field over here and we would have events. Just given our case now, we would have events here. And then this event thing, I could do it here, and then we could do a different example too. This might not be, I didn't fully think about this. I thought about this 2 seconds ago. So this might not be a better one. Nick said that organizer can be bidirectional with event. That might be a better example of it, but let's start here and then we'll build another one. So if we go over to location now and we say we want to do events, because this would be like, if you wanted to, well, actually, this isn't a bad example. I think this will work too, and we can do other ones. So like if you go to location now, understand what we're doing. We're on location, so we're thinking about the fields that are going to show up when you add a new location, like a PNC Park or like a I don't know, some other thing. I'm running out of location ideas. The White House, or I don't know, whatever the fuck. So you come down here and you have a field called events. This is what I mean is like we could do this and compare this to Jet Engine, and I just feel like Jet Engine has like an easier way to understand this, but is what it is. So we only want the fields in this field. We only want the post we want it to be events, and we want to only show event posts. So that's why we've done the same thing here. We did all of that. Okay, we're gonna press save changes. Now we're gonna do one more thing when we come back to this, but I want to refresh this real quick. Now we have PNC Park, right? And the events that are going on at that thing. But what we don't have here is, you would expect if this was bidirectional, we would think the baseball game, right, would be already selected here. But this is where people get tripped up because it is not already selected over there, right? It's not, there's no bidirectionality to this. There is just like all this location thing is right now, and all this events thing right now is kind of just like taking a list. It's kind of just like dynamically utilizing Jet Engine can do this, by the way. Like Jet Engine is nasty the way that you can do a lot of the stuff here. Like you can create dynamic selections from based off of like all sorts of data in your website. But regardless, that's outside the scope of this right now. With this right here, basically what it's doing is it's just dynamically generating you a list to pick from another custom post type in this case, right? That's all it's really doing. It's not relating them where you can change them and do different things like that. So for instance, if I say the baseball game is no longer at PNC Park, I refresh this locations thing, it's not going to do anything. If I put PNC Park back on it here, okay, baseball game is at PNC Park, and then I refresh this, it's not going to do anything. So the way that you have to fix this is that you have to go into your advanced toggles over here on both sides, and you have to say events. Okay, so these are our location fields. We go to events, we go to advanced, we go to bidirectional. I don't know why they let you close this shit without selecting a target field. I don't know why they let you save this without selecting a target field. There's going to be a ton of people that are going to click this and they're going to think that it's good now. It is not good. You have to say like, put this in relation to something else, right? So you have to do the opposite. So it's events and location, okay? Because it knows that location field is over on the other one. Then you have to go back to your field groups and you have to go do the exact opposite. You have to go to the location field, you have to click advanced, you have to click bidirectional, you have to come down here and you have to click events. And then you have to click save changes. And then now, I'm not sure if it's going to do it already. I don't think so. Let me get rid of this. Update. Okay. And then we'll go PNC Park. Update over here. Baseball game. So, stadiums do have events like concerts. Yeah, we can do more. But this is, in my opinion, quite frankly, a cool implementation once you understand it, but it's a pretty unintuitive way to do this because like it gives you a lot of flexibility. It gives you like almost more flexibility and a different way of thinking about it than Jet Engine does. But that's all it is. Like that's all it is. And it's like so weird because I don't know that this is bidirectional in any way, right? But it does what it's supposed to do. It just does it in a weird way, in my opinion, right? Okay, so now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, all right, well, you know what? PNC Park, actually, we're not going to host this baseball game, so we'll take it out of here. And then I'm going to think in my mind, oh, this is this problem that's to solve, right? Do I need to go over to the baseball game now and say that PNC Park is no longer the host? No, I don't. So that's what it is. Now, again, we could think of other examples, and I got 30 minutes if you want to try some other ones. But like, I think most of you guys probably understand what bidirectional is, and I'll make a video for the people that don't understand how to do it in ACF. But it's more than just the technical, because in my opinion, again, the way in which this is set up is kind of like a little weird. It opens a lot of doors. I'm happy they have it, but that's just kind of like where I'm at. I'd love a visual node-based ERM-like builder managing the entities and relationships, foreign keys for the CPTs and fields. Yes. Yes. I think that would be dope. I think I understand kind of what you're saying there, Max, with the node-based type of stuff. I don't know of anything, yeah, that has like visually based. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's do a fun example though, real quick. Just for any of you guys that maybe aren't Jet Engine people. I should be able to do it like this, right? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. So here's a fun example. All that shit we just did, right? Not hard, but hard to understand at first. Because I know a lot of people haven't fully gotten it, right? And the biggest part for me is there's no denotation that like says this is bidirectional now or anything. I actually should tell them that because like why wouldn't there be a thing here just say bidirectional with events, location field or something like that. That's actually extremely silly. I don't know because the way that Jet Engine works, let's just do an example, okay? Let's try to do the same thing that I would have done there, but let's do it differently, okay? So for Jet Engine, it would be like, here's how I would go. I would say like, generally, the problem with Jet Engine is it also is a little confusing in certain ways. Because like now you introduce this idea of like a parent and a child thing, and it's also a little weird, but it kind of separates out the relation part, which in some ways is nice. And I will also say some ways is kind of annoying because now it's like a separate thing. You'll see it in a second. It's no longer a field group anymore. It's like it's just a separate place. So let's just say like events. I normally call them like events to locations or something. More of like a relationship language in that regard. So then if we go to events, we say our parent object is events. We say our child object is location. And I'm not sure if it matters per se your parent or child object. I don't know if it matters like which one is which. But it does matter that you know which one is which, the way that I think about it. because you're going to have to make a decision whether you want like one to one, one to many, many to many. So can like one event has one location? Does every event only have one location? Um, you you could say that. Does one event have many locations? I mean, maybe. Again, these are almost like questions that you'd have to answer based on your specific project, right? And then can many events have many locations? So can like the baseball game be at this event, this event, this event? Can like PNC Park have many events like that? You know, and also maybe you change it so it's like locations to events. I don't know. This is where it gets kind of like a little. I'm making up a scenario here, so I can't really give you like concrete answers. So like, can one location have one event? Yes. Can one location have many events? Certainly. Can many locations have many events? Can many locations have many events? Maybe. Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. James, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Excited to see you at WordCamp. Rob Cooper. Oh yeah, it's Thursday. What's up, brother? Yeah, I started earlier today because Kevin is doing a Etch stream right now, and I have to go on the Tonic podcast in a half an hour. Appreciate you guys being here. Every tournament has many locations, or event tournament has many locations. Yeah. I'm building a running event system with run locations, of course. Yeah, I mean, Rob, if you wanna play around with anything, we could try that as well here in the last 30. But yeah, so I would say like I don't know. Let's just do. Let me switch it back. Let me do like events and locations, and let's just say like many to many. Many events can have many locations. Cool. And then you could do like a parent relationship, like if you had like one kind of, I think of it as like a ladder, if you had like one above it, but we don't have that right now. And then you have all these little controls and these meta fields and things like that. But let me show you what happens. So now you have relations, right? And the way that this is different. So if you're just getting here, guys, like this was we did like a bi-directional relationship in ACF, and I just said that the way it works, like it works and it's cool, but it's kind of like a little counterintuitive. It also doesn't tell me it's a bi-directional relationship here. They should definitely do that. But then if you go here now, right? Oh, what is this? So this is the way that Jet Engine does it. And Jet Engine is different. You can change these. You can say like, whatever you want here with this children locations and parent events or whatever. But the point is now if we go to like, we're putting in a new event, like a baseball game or whatever. And we're putting in start time, end time, all this stuff. Well, this is the way that we would do this bidirectional thing up here with ACF. But down here is we would click children or, connect a location, children location, and then we'd click PNC Park. And now we connect the location, right? So now this baseball game is related to PNC Park, our location. And then down here, if we go to PNC Park, notice there's nothing here. But now I reload, and now our event, one of our events at PNC Park is our baseball game, right? So if you guys aren't familiar with locations, I feel like most of you are. That's the concept of relations or relationships. But you can see how ACF and Jet Engine kind of handle those differently. Because if I put in like Jet Engine fields, they're not going to be like intertwined with this at all. They're going to be like a different little module box thing or whatever. And it's just a different way of handling it. And in some ways, it kind of like makes more sense or is a little cleaner because you separate it out. But I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you're more comfortable with using. Types of runs: marathon, ultra, trail runs, etc. 15 types of runs. So you have 15 types of runs. Do you use a taxonomy for that? Or did you use a custom field? That's another really good topic to talk about because let me give you an example. Because over here on the tools, so for the tags here, I used a taxonomy. But for this pricing model, I actually used a custom field. And the way that I personally work through that is that if I think that I want to have an archive, I will use a taxonomy. If I'm pretty sure I don't want to use an archive or I will never need an archive, then I will use a pricing model. And in the slight chance that I decide that one day I want to have a price a page or we'll call it a screen that says all of the free tools. I could just create a page or whatever, and I could just query that. You know what I mean? So there's probably other reasons to do that as well, but that's the kind of the one of the ways that I think about that, because we have these things that are kind of built in. I don't want to go too far outside of the way that like WordPress is supposed to work or is designed to work from the CMS side of it. So that's another thing that I've done there. Grant, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Talked about the site a little bit earlier. We're kind of just playing around with some different things. Yes, taxonomy, and I'm 2 hours behind Philly, just having coffee and catching up with some stuff. Nice. Nice. Yeah, so taxonomy. So something like that, you would have, let's just do one real quick. What do you say? What's an example? Let's do like, we'll say like a 5K race, right? I guess something like that. 5K race. Start time would be, I don't know, 7 p.m. They're running at night, and it's gonna go till, I don't know, 11 p.m. whatever. And then so we'd go here, and then I don't know if we were gonna do that. Obviously, we would have. How do we do this here? Let's go to taxonomies. I'm trying to think of. Trying to think of another really good example with this, with the faceted search. I really wish. I don't know. Can Jet Smart Filters do relationships search? I'm still struggling to understand a. Maybe you guys can help me out with this. I'm still struggling to understand a use case for a faceted search. Like so I think what everyone's talking about here is like something like this, right? And you want to have a section over here or whatever, right? And you want to click a button, and then this would say like, I have no idea, like PNC Park or something, just using our example, and then all of the events for PNC Park would show up over here. Is that what we're looking for on the relationship based facet search stuff? Because I've heard this like 2 or 3 times now, and I'm struggling to understand an actual use case. Interesting. Brendan has me all curious about APIs now. Yeah, we gotta dive more into the API stuff. There's not enough people talking about that, and it's really sick. Yeah. So going back to Eric's before, if he's still there, like, are you covering faceted search? I think this is a pinnacle of front end live filtering by dynamic relationships between CPTs. I just don't know what that means. Like, I need an example of that. That's kind of where I'm at with that right now. Because I feel like what I've been able to achieve just with bricks here has been pretty fine for me. There's obviously like more that I want to do, but can you like filter? I don't know. I really need an example, honestly. Can pull circle event and course info into our WordPress event system. Display a circle course outline on our front end to sell the community. Cool shit. Love it. I think fast is more like having filters for clothing sizes, textile than other colors. Yeah, everybody uses the facet term. I feel like maybe this is. I thought this was faceting over here, like just like little things here, like again like a grid builder situation. Should we go to WP grid builder just for funsies real quick? Let's look at this. Do they have anything about this? Build cards, filter content. I think they term this facet term or something. Create advanced filters, taxonomy terms, post fields, or custom fields. I mean, I could definitely do that already. Um, I would love, 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 love to see an example of this. Like, it's almost like in this case you would want to have like a related products facet filter or something. Okay, let's just analyze this here real quick. Okay, so you have products here, right? It's a nice thing. This is just a search. You're just searching probably the title, maybe the description or something like that. But I don't know what Grid Builder is doing. But this is a Grid Builder, demo here. You know, okay. So product types. These have got to be. Can you do anything else from this demo, or is this it? Probably not. Probably not. This has got to be. Product type is probably, if I was doing it, it would probably be a taxonomy. And then it's just, a select thing here. Okay. Then product styles. Again, maybe a custom field, maybe a taxonomy. Honestly, doesn't even matter because it's one of those two, and both of those are doable in pretty much every faceting thing that I've seen. Okay. I don't know if they would use it like this, but this is one of them that maybe would make sense. Interesting. Okay. So brands, I'm sure they wouldn't actually still do this, but like here's an example. So you have your products over here and then you have brands, right? And if you had a brand CPT, which maybe you'd want to do, I don't know if you'd really want to do, 'cause probably wouldn't. Cause like you have to ask yourself, the easiest way to think about it, do I want a single page for all of these brands? Do I want like website .com/brands/accessorize /Nike/whatever? If the answer to that is no, then it's probably not going to be a CPT. That's too simple, but that's one good way to think about it. And if that's the case, I would almost doubt that they would even have that. But if that's what you wanted, then maybe this is one way to do it. Or that's one example so far that we've seen. Because everything else here is not, none of this is CPT stuff. Do they have any other examples real quick? Because I'll try to do that real quick or something, but I still don't have this is a taxonomy. Okay. A blog. This is definitely a taxonomy. These are authors. That would be an interesting one. Can you do that? Let's go just here. Food allergens in a restaurant can be a facet. That's a good example. But would food, okay, so like you would have restaurants, right? In that example, restaurants would like certainly be a CPT, right? Like maybe if you were doing like a Yelp or something. But would food allergens be a CPT? I don't think it would. I think you would have a predefined list in a select field or something, or a checkbox field, and it would be, dairy, gluten, whatever. And you wouldn't have like a whole CPT, right? I mean, you definitely could. Like, you could always have a CPT for these things. It's just like what, like, would you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So let's just see something here real quick. Do I have these filters even turned on? God damn it. Let me go over here. Dashboard, bricks, getting started. I wish I had this on by default. Why don't I? Query filters, cool, boom. All right, refresh, save, refresh. Okay. Just trying to see here, folks. Let's see. All right. So filter. So what's an example? Like select. Get the fuck in there. There you go. So obviously we don't have a target. Do we have to set a target query just to do this? Oh, come on, seriously. I just wanted to see the settings. I don't know if I have frames linked up. We'll just do a heading for now. Heading, give me a block. Wrap it in a block. Sure. Is what it is. this would be our card. Technically, our heading would be our post title, whatever. And then give me this block, query loop, and query some I literally just want to see, none of this matters. Filter or sort, we would want filter, source, taxonomy, WordPress field. Okay, oh, WordPress field, beautiful. Yeah, okay, so for this, okay, so I'm just spitballing here, guys. I'm just trying to say, publishers, I'm gonna guarantee that if you were using an author for this, right? Like if you were using, this is by Brian Heater or whatever, this looks to me like it would be like by the user, so to speak, like the user author set up, right? So if you would have that, then you could do for bricks. We're just talking about bricks faceted filtering right now, right? That's all we're doing. So you would have like a WordPress field, and then because taxonomy is easy, right? Taxonomy is like, these are the categories or the custom taxonomies or whatever that you would have in there. That makes total sense. That is what I did over here, right? This is a custom taxonomy thing, right? That's easy. That makes total sense. The WordPress field is when you would want like post ID, probably never want that. Post type, maybe you would want that, because if you had like a big list of a bunch of different post types, potentially you could, I guess, filter them out by that. Post status, probably don't want that, maybe sometimes. And then post author is kind of what I feel like if I was trying to rebuild something like this, is what this publishers would be. Now there is a different example where I've had this happen a few times, where I have a user, but I also want more information about that user. So maybe I have like a teacher's or an instructor's or a publisher's custom post type, and then that custom post type is connected. Like I don't know if you guys have ever done this, like relate the post type to the user. I don't like doing that because I feel like it's a little redundant. I'd rather just add meta fields to the user if I can, but I don't know if you can always do that. I'm just having fun here with this at this point, but let me see if you can do this. Can you do that in here? Because you can't, I think you can in, oh, cool. No. Wait a second. Post type. Somebody let me know. If I wanted to add meta fields, like a field group, to a user, can I do that through ACF Pro? I guess maybe I can. User role is all, and then I would say like title, and I would say like job title or something. So like, you guys understand what I'm trying to do here? I'm gonna have like people in the website. I'd have like people in the website, and then those people would have, can we go to user role is all? A lot of settings. So users, boom, boom. Job title. Yeah, okay, cool. You can have user fields. That's awesome. So this is something that I would do instead, and maybe you could do it that way. But then you could have like a field there, like something, and you could have, and I'm assuming you could be able to grab that information dynamically, and then also possibly like sort and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure. You could definitely use tags for that. Okay. So back to what I was doing here. I'm still WordPress custom field post meta key compare. I gotta be honest with you guys. I still don't understand a reason. I need somebody to give me an example. Maybe not anybody on the stream right now, but like I need somebody to give me an example of when you'd have like a big grid. Here's exactly what I want to know. You have a big grid of all of your custom post type, list, posts basically, right? Here, these are all tools. I think people are asking, how do I take these tools and then have a filter over here, and the facet of the filter is not, it's not a taxonomy like this one, it's not a custom field like this one, it's not a search, it's not a like a WordPress field. It is other post types. And then you would click the post type, and then you would click the post type, and then you would click, and then it would show the thing. So it's like, is it like if there were a ton of events here? Maybe that's an example. Maybe it's like if there was a ton of events. So there's a ton of events here, and then they want to have in these facets, they want to have locations, and they want to click a location, and they want to see all of the events at that location. Does this, is it this simple? Custom field post equal to update filter index. Whoops. Let me go get rid of some of this shit here. Got to wrap up here real quick. 2. Doesn't say it. I'm going to play around with this more because that's an interesting thing. I feel like you might be able to do it. This is where, to bring this all home here, this is kind of where I feel like the difference between Jet Engine and ACF is. And I feel like because if you do it with ACF, Joe, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, man. I think this is, you actually might be able to do this with ACF. Because it's more of a field rather than another situation. Let me look at this real quick. I don't think either of these baseball games. Let me see. Let me just see. Yeah, I'd have to play around with this. It might not. I mean, it also might not work. I don't know. But if that's what people are asking, if they want, like, for instance, like a big list of events and then they have locations on the side, you click the location and then that's the thing. I will say, though, that you can do this with Jet Engine. I'd have to think about it, though. Because the way the Jet Engine works, like, you can create, you could do it differently with Jet Engine, I feel like, and smart filters, because you can create the list dynamically. It's not like you're pulling in the custom post types directly. You're creating the list dynamically from the things. It's kind of like the same way that WS Form does a lot of their stuff. That's dynamic in that way. I don't know. Anyway, I got to go. I appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you so much. This was fantastic. Hopefully you learned a little bit here. If you're watching on the replay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. If you have any ideas, questions, thoughts, let me know, and I will cover them. We're going to be here Thursday, normally, not today, but 11 a.m. Eastern, every single Thursday. We got a lot more work to do. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.